And still bishop b5. Still no open Sicilian for Magnus. Takes d takes.
So the Rossolimo.
And it's continuation of the discussion started at World Championship match, right?
Yes. However, there Magnus didn't play with knight d7. Or did he? I mean, it's all the... Yeah, he did play with knight d7. All these things are so confusing.
h6
Yeah,
and then castle short.
And
Yeah?
b6, yeah. That's the move order that Magnus was using also in the World Championship match against Fabiano Caruana. The point is that he keeps the knight on... I mean, he cannot castle, but previously people considered that black has to play queen e7 instead of b6, protecting the pawn, and then play knight f8, knight e6. But it turned out that it's very important that black plays b6 instead of queen e7.
Okay, Van Hao goes for a well-known idea to play a3 and b4 to disturb black's double pawns to get some initiative on the queen side. Magnus accepts. Oh wow! No, he doesn't really take bc5, and seems that he's prepared still.
Of course, okay.
Knight e6, bc5,
this is his
f5.
World Championship preparation.
f5, threatening very clear threat. f4, f4, just trapping the bishop.
I remember analyzing this like in 2010, because I was playing this with black, yeah, and I think Wang also remembers something, because this queen e1 move is, if you haven't checked it with the computer, you will not play it in a blitz game.
So castle takes, queen e1, and then castle short. Yeah, of course, black cannot afford spending time taking on c5.
Yeah, but black has very nice, because basically black sacrificed the pawn. However, white is not trying to keep this pawn with c takes b6, because that would spoil, I mean, open up the a8 rook, and he wants to spoil black's pawn structure, because if black takes b takes c5, then with knight a4 white immediately gets target.
Yeah, right. So this is what you don't want to do with black. And I remember some games, I mean, when they would rather play b6 b5, I mean, in a situation like that, just leaving white with the c5 pawn. Okay, e4, but that's a total mess now.
Yeah, the position is a total mess.
Takes f4, and bishop a6 will go kind of after this exchange, right? After f4, what do you do?
Yeah, and also some knight g...
Rook d1, and then
d1.
bishop d4 is a possibility.
And how is kind of very focused.
Yeah, what to do with black? Queen e8, I assume.
But black has such a... because whenever even you go bishop d4, some knight takes d4, knight takes d4, f3. Can you imagine in blitz?
Okay, he goes queen e7. Fine. Ah, well, actually, now on bishop d4, black can take with the knight take on c5, so he will be only one pawn down, and white will have some weaknesses. Black will have two bishops. Yeah, looks like black's position is very, very attractive. What do you do with this bishop on e3 now? Man, it doesn't feel right to go back, and at the same time, going bishop d4 is not very attractive.
Yeah.
Seems like Magnus is outplaying his opponent.
Yeah, but basically I think Wang also falling into this opening trap, because this is kind of not known, it's all new. But if you have studied this position, then you know very well that with white you should just never ever enter this, because it's just way too dangerous. I mean,
this kind of complications, yeah?
Yeah, maybe the engine gives 0-0, or maybe it gives even 0-20 for white, but practically this is
okay,
just terrible.
Look, takes on d4, and he goes bishop a6, another very, very principled move.
Knight f5, rook takes f5, or what?
Yeah, looks like rook takes f5, queen takes e1, and then takes on c3. So two bishops. White does get some pawns though.
He takes
knight c6, queen c5, knight d5. And Magnus is not impressed whatsoever. He goes rook to e8. Now the knight on c6 is hanging, as well as the rook on f1 can be taken any moment. f3 is a threat as well. That's like a serious positional threat, right?
Yeah, now Magnus clearly ahead on the clock.
Knight b4 finally takes the
and
rook on f1.
How to take back? If you take with the queen, then rook takes e4.
Yeah,
if king
e4
takes, then a5 is hanging in the air.
If the king takes, as well you have queen c4
check,
and take on e4. First you probably throw in some f4, f3, because white has to react to this.
White is in serious trouble.
Queen c4 check. Okay, he goes this way.
He might just be lost.
Right, so white has to go queen e2 and swap the queens and pray. I mean, because I don't really think that keeping the queens on the board improves your chances. Right? Now if Magnus takes on e4, yeah, this is better, right? If you would
Yeah.
take on e2 first, then king gets to f3, and then maybe white has some hopes.
Yeah, but with the king on f1, this looks hopeless. I
So
mean,
what-
without any practical chances.
What is the material? It's one pawn for an exchange, yeah, but somehow no real counterplay. Yeah, the king is still problematic on
Yeah, he anyway comes, but
a5. Okay. Is the knight b6?
no, and now f3 check, yeah? Just
Now,
to
yeah, you
destroy
probably
the-
want to destroy the structure, so not taking on
But
c2.
even it's not
He takes on
necessary, yeah.
c2,
You go after
king
the
goes,
a3
and
pawn,
rook
yeah,
a2. So this a pawn should decide the game in white's favor.
in black's favor.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, in black's favor, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, somehow no real counterplay yet. One of the pawns has to be taken. It will be too much for black to handle those connected pawns. Now, however, Magnus starts to think.
Okay, why not to think? You understand that just one or two precise moves and game over.
Oh, right, maybe he's looking for a forced win with rook c3, because knight a5, knight is offside, and possibly it is simply getting trapped.
Yeah, rook d8, then king e2 only move. Yeah, king e4 would run into rook d4 check.
And then some rook d5, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes there, rook d5, knight to b7. Okay. Well, actually,
Yeah, was this
this
necessary?
kind of gives white... not after bishop f8, but I thought it kind of gives white a chance, because...
Yeah, with knight c5.
Yeah, it's like white goes knight c5, black wins both knights for the rook, right? But then, you know, this bishop n2 versus 3 pawns might not be that easy to win.
Yeah, but like this is a
And
rook.
yeah, and one house, I don't know if he blundered